The idea for the movie came to be when Seinfeld had dinner with Spielberg and mentioned it as a joke, but Spielberg liked the idea and greenlit the project. Animators spent thousands of hours observing bees in their environment to figure out how to animate and cartoonify them. A lot of the biology for bees were changed in the movie, as male bees are only drones and females handle the honey-making process. The movie starts with our main character named Barry graduating and complaining about having a job for the rest of his life to his family and friends. A bunch of corny bee puns are inserted to pad things out. He all of a sudden decides he wants to be a pollinator and manages to snag a job. The motion of all the pollinators flying through the human world takes place, and they end up with a couple playing tennis as the bees thought the tennis balls were flowers. Through many contrived circumstances, Barry ends up at the couple's apartment. The second act starts with Barry being seen by Ken, who rightfully loses his mind since he's fatally allergic to bees, only to be lectured by his girlfriend Vanessa, which is dumb. Barry the bee starts to fall in love with the human, and what the heck is this? Bees and humans aren't the same or equal, but they both have their own separate functions. This movie... Anyways, Barry starts to spend time with Vanessa as they are able to speak and communicate properly. Ignoring the blatant plot holes for now, he goes back home and starts to daydream about Vanessa, which creeps out the other bees. If this movie isn't belligerently horrible enough as it is, the homewrecker starts some sort of affair with her. After spending more time with the florist Vanessa, he realizes that humans are selling honey, which is wrong, so he decides to sue them. Wait. In order to file a lawsuit, the plaintiff must be identified as a citizen or a place of business. So, how did this happen legally? They make it clear that this isn't an alternate universe, and it is the real world, but they don't follow real world rules. While this trial goes on and on and on, Ken catches his girlfriend cheating on him. Act 3 constitutes of Barry realizing that by the bees retrieving all the honey, flowers and plants aren't growing anymore, and the bees are at home having nothing to do. After visiting Vanessa, they hatch up a plan to fly to a flower parade float so the bees can grab the pollination. The bees ultimately start honey production and manage to save the world. The movie ends with Barry becoming a pollen jug and also becoming a lawyer for animals in the human world. Still very confused by that, but whatever. The only pro I can give this film is that the animation is generally pretty good. The movie emphasizes texture, mostly due to the honey and motion, and the bees look great in the film. Regarding the animation though, on the other hand, the humans look awkward, blotchy, and blocky, which hasn't aged well whatsoever. This is probably the only time I will be positive about anything regarding B-movie, and even then, it's mostly mixed than positive. Ultimately, a lot of the story issues in a film tie to the characters, and in this film, what characters? B-movie is one of the most blatant films where the celebrity voice actors and actresses are characterized into their characters so much that the character is pretty much the voice actor in itself. Even the message of the film is problematic to me. The interspecies relationship is borderline bestiality, and the world building is non-existent for this to even make remote sense. Also, I didn't like how the film kind of encouraged infidelity so blatantly. Sinbad technically did it too, and I was not fond of it there. And the so-called humor is atrocious, though that has been a theme in this entire era of DreamWorks. Unnecessary pop culture references that were already old by the time this film was even released, and added absolutely nothing to the movie. Like in past films, the humor and script is written around an actor/comedian, and it feels here that Seinfeld's type of humor doesn't pay off well in animated films. It barely worked in Shrek, and it for sure did not work here. When the film was released on November of 2007, it underperformed with one of the weakest openings from the studio, totaling up to $287 million worldwide. With DreamWorks already struggling to greenlight another franchise, B-Movie made the trouble even more difficult, since it made less than Shark Tale and Over the Hedge, two films that didn't become a franchise after underperforming in the box office. The reaction from the critics and audience was not good either. Seinfeld's formula regarding the movie was questioned, the animation and characters were attacked, and people just thought the movie was phoned in with little to no effort. Many called out the DreamWorks formula failing with the pop culture references, celebrity voices taking over, and style over substance, which turned a lot of people off. It was pretty ignored in regards to awards, ending 2007 on a bad note for DreamWorks. B-Movie represents everything I hate about DreamWorks, and I think I dislike this film even more than Shark Tale. Yes, you heard that correctly. I hate this film more than Shark Tale. Unnecessary pop culture references that don't age well, add nothing, and were never funny. The characters in the film being celebrities that they are voiced by instead of receiving their own characterization, a lack of world building with the setting that makes generic stories even more generic, and the overall trendiness that the company thought made their studio a success just absolutely fails and grinds my gears. What pisses me off about this movie even more is that it turned into an internet sensation last year in 2016 because social media tends to love making corny stupidity trend for absolutely no reason. Not all DreamWorks films inhibit the negative traits that created the stigma around the studio, but this film epitomizes all of the negative traits, with none of the heart, wit, creativity, memorability, or anything of positive interest. And don't even get me started on the negative messages this film inhibits, which carry so many plot points that did not need to exist. Now, regarding the studio in itself, it got out of its financial downfall of the early 2000s and managed to create two franchises under their belt, with Madagascar and Shrek. Critical praise was at an all-time high with Shrek 2, but it decreased more and more as the animation is for kids stigma was changed in the 2000s as it became defined by the output from this era of DreamWorks Animation. While the studio was not in financial danger as they became more inconsistent with that regard, they were in creative danger as their trust with the audience decreased with their original and sequel content. With Pixar still at their creative peak and Walt Disney Animation Studios slowly earning their trust again with the public, it seemed like DreamWorks was in another downfall. But they started to combine the aspects from both eras that gave them their own positive identity that they utilized for the next few years. Since this is the quote-unquote end of the dark/dork era, I'll be recapping my overall thoughts on certain trends in the era, how it positively or negatively affected the studio and animation in general, which ones are my favorites, least favorites, etc. and so forth. The historical aspect will be discussed more in depth in regards to the Paramount deal and the fallout with Ant-Man animation, as well as the shift to CGI animation and how they adapted to it. This will lead up to our Resurgence era, which lasts all the way until 2013 when the deal with Paramount expired.